Welcome to the Mild Opinion Podcast. I'm Logan,
I'm Luke.
and today we're going to be discussing the future of the MCU, some of the things that we like to see post Secret Wars and all that, with the whole reboot and all that. And we talked about it a little bit before with the X-Men stuff that's coming up and Ghost Rider and all that, but we're going to get into it a little bit more and just share our thoughts about some things that we'd like to see or what we hope to see with the projects that have already been announced and so on.
So we know that the new reboot area after Secret Wars is going to be starting with Ghost Rider and the X-Men, and that there's still going to be like continuations of like certain characters after that. Like Black Panther III has been announced, and they announced the character who's like the official successor to T'Challa, which I still don't know how that'll work all the way. And I don't know, did they announce that much else other than that?
I don't think so. Not no official announcement and stuff. I know there's rumored stuff and all that, like Shang-Chi 2 and all the things that, but I don't know. I don't know what's actually like real or not. I just know that they've had official announcements for Black Panther 3, X-Men, and Ghost Rider. I think that's it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of rumors right now about other stuff that could happen. Like, it seems as of right now that they're going to be keeping Tom Holland around for a while as Spider-Man, because there's also a bunch of rumors right now that like they're going to go up to like 5, 6, 7, and I can't really imagine them getting him out of the way, because despite how long he's been around, I still feel like it hasn't been that long that he's been Spider-Man, even though I'm pretty sure he's been Spider-Man longer than
anybody.
Either of the other two. But other than that, I know there's the rumor going around right now of like the next Thor movie being a duo or like a split lead movie between like Thor and Hercules. And, you know, with this being a comic book universe, there's infinite things that have yet to happen. I'm sure there will probably be a new Fantastic Four movie at some point. But I wanted to ask you, we still have so many post-credit scenes and stuff that have come to nothing, and I don't think that by the time of Secret Wars even like half of them will be addressed. Do you think there's any post-credit scenes that have happened that seemingly lead to nowhere as of right now that might lead to something post-Secret Wars in the new MCU?
See, it's hard to kind of pick through them and decide, because I know there are things that have been said and like things have been brought up that people are like, oh yeah, like they could 100% do that, but it just seems like they're not, because like all like the word on the street is that like the Eternals are going to be massively important in what happens next. But do I think that either of the post-credit scenes with that are going to come to be anything? Probably not, even if they are important again. I would like them to be. I think both of those post-credit scenes are actually super cool ideas, but I doubt they'll go anywhere, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, well, also, the other thing, too, is not even post-credit scenes, just a lot of the stuff that was in, you know, this part of the MCU, the multiversal saga and all that, just seems like it's going to lead to nothing. Just because, like, you know, what's going to happen with, like, the League of Kangs? It's just going to get swept under the rug and all that. And, like, even, like, a lot of the characters, like, people have been saying, like, oh, yeah, Moon Knight's probably not coming back. Like, all that. And I'm like, I just don't get it. And then, you know, I've seen stuff, too, where people have even talked about, like, you know, oh, well, like, Wonder Man, they canceled it after one season. He's just gone. He's going to be gone after this. And I'm like, for what? Like, I understand that a lot of this stuff, you know, is getting swept under the rug because not a lot of people love this part of the MCU, and I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, well, don't get rid of them. Just write better stories that they can fit into. I don't, you know. But as far as post-credit scenes go, that would actually lead somewhere. I don't know. I think the stuff with Beast and Monica Rambeau, I think that will probably lead to something in Secret Wars and Doomsday itself.
Yeah, there's a few out there that I think will lead to Secret Wars and Doomsday. There's just more that I'm thinking, like, I think there's only probably about two or three storylines out there that I could see actually leading to something post Secret Wars and Doomsday, and for me that's like the Hercules thing at the end of Thor,
Mm-hmm.
um, and the symbiote is still out there somewhere after
Yeah.
No Way Home, and other than that, there's nothing really that like jumps out to me a whole lot about what could be going on, and like we still have Vision Quest between now and Doomsday, so maybe like that will set something up for like after everything
Yeah.
what might happen, but there's still just like all these loose fragments that it seems like just got left out there somewhere. There's all these villains still running around. There's so many like heroes that have been set up as like a side character in so many projects. Like you talked about Moon Knight, and they had like, is it Crimson Scarab or something like that? We're never gonna see those characters again, probably.
No, probably
So
not.
I just think it is weird that they're gonna just like kind of quietly make those things nothing
Yeah.
and just probably start from scratch in a way.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it feels to me. I think the other thing that I'm not really sure about is because I know, obviously they're recasting pretty much all the X-Men and all that, and some characters will stay the same, but I'm like, how do you pick and choose, like, which characters are going to be gone, which characters are going to get, I've heard that in the reboot series that they're going to completely reboot, like, a lot of the main characters that have been gone already, and they'll start with I've heard that they're gonna have like a new Iron Man and Cap and stuff like that, like the people that have been gone, and just recast them and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, yeah, but how do you decide like which ones are gonna be gone, who's gonna be recast? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's kind of strange to me, and especially too like there's some stuff that hasn't been brought up yet that I think is kind of inevitable, because like nobody's really talked about the Werewolf by Night stuff, but I feel like that's going to come up post Secret Wars with the Ghost Rider stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure Mephisto will probably be back from, what happened to Ironheart and, the Ghost Rider stuff, Midnight Sun stuff. Yep. And if not, there's no way you bring Mephisto and all of the people from Werewolf by Night and then not do Midnight Suns, because that's a crazy wasted opportunity. But so I think that stuff, I think those will all lead to post Secret Wars stuff, but I don't know. A lot of it I'm just like, couldn't tell you. I have no idea. I mean, it could just be gone forever.
Sure. And I think that kind of right now feels like the strangest thing to think about is it seems like they are going to keep some characters and then just start from scratch with other characters, which I'm just curious to see how that will look, because I think the intent of doing like a soft sort of reboot, which is what it seems like, is to make it make sense in like the beginning of from like the beginning to the end of like, here's the MCU up to this point, and then like after that it's this now. But the idea to me seems to be, let's get everybody under the same like timeline umbrella, so that it's like the X-Men are going on at the same time as like Iron Man and Captain America, and Spider-Man and Thor are doing this, and then there's like the Fantastic Four existing over here doing that. And just the thing that's the strangest to me about that is it's like, if you're not going to go all the way with it, then I feel like it could be problematic really, really fast, because you're going to have Tom Holland, who is already going to be like an adult Spider-Man if he's sticking around, which it seems like he is. And it's like, yeah, you could go then to Miles Morales after a few movies, or just have Tom Holland be that, but that's going to kind of not be exactly where everybody is the same age range that they should be in the way that they all interact with each other. So, and you and I had a separate discussion at one point about like Thor, where if they keep Chris Hemsworth as Thor, he will be an older Thor, and he's already lost Mjolnir, and there's rumors about some things that could happen to him in Doomsday and stuff that would like change him a lot. So it's just, I don't really know where the line gets drawn, because also there's characters like Punisher and Daredevil and all the street tier heroes, and it's like, it's great that they are having their own resurgence kind of separate from everything, but they are all also getting up there in terms of age. And if
Mm-hmm.
the idea is to have a like long going thing, then it might end up being another instance of like these heroes who are there at the beginning get swept away like really fast,
Yeah.
and then you're just back to the same point you are,
Yeah.
even quicker possibly. So
Yeah.
I don't really know. I think that's the biggest problem in my head that they need to
Yeah.
really iron down.
I mean, because you can't just reboot everything and then be like, oh yeah, 10 years later, all of these people are gone now. They're either old or dead or whatever.
Yeah.
So now we got to redo it again. Like,
Yeah.
you can't just really keep doing that if you're going to have a giant soft reboot in the middle of it right now. But
Yeah, and that's the thing too of like it makes me nervous too in terms of just like what can a cinematic universe handle at once, because there's so many characters that if they're starting from the top with all of them, that it's like would be competing for the limelight, but they can only do so much at once. And it's like, say X-Men comes out and it's a big hit, but then they're like, oh man, but we got to incorporate like the reboot Iron Man, the reboot Cap, we still need to be making that Spider-Man movie, get the Eternals off their feet, come back to the Fantastic Four. Like, it's gonna be coming out of the gate really fast with finding the footing that they need, and then like keeping the same momentum with every like sub franchise of the MCU.
Yeah.
So that to me is just like a lot to wrap my head around. It's kind of the problem that I feel like DC is gonna be, the new DCU is gonna be facing, because they're trying to like world build a lot while also like keep the ball rolling on like introducing a lot of characters and get a lot of people involved really fast, you know?
yeah, and I think that is the one area where Marvel kind of suffers, because it just happened with the Spider-Man movie too. Everyone was like, oh yeah, like I like Spider-Man, but you know, it also being centered around Jean Grey and all that, like why can't we ever just have a regular Spider-Man movie with just Spider-Man and all that? And I understand that stuff, but at the same time, it's like, well, they can't make a movie or a show for every single comic and all this. So it's like, if you have just a Spider-Man movie, that is a whole movie, whether it's successful or not, that could have had somebody else in it to push the rest of the world building along.
Yeah.
And like, you know, they kind of have to take those opportunities when they have them, because if not, you know, just with like what happened in Thunderbolts, like yeah, they could have had that movie just by itself, but then, you know, in the post-credit scene they drop in, you know, the Fantastic Four stuff, and they also are the new Avengers and all that, so they're doing the stuff in the Avengers Tower and Sentry and all that. It's like, yeah, that was like the Thunderbolts thing, but it is going to tie into everything else later, and a lot of people complain about that because they're like, well, why does everything have to tie in? Well, it's because of world building. They can't just make individual movies without them all tying together, or else it would be a lot to try and fit all that into just an Avengers movie and stuff like that, because they already suffer from that anyway. Because there's a lot of throwing stuff together in the movies themselves. So, I mean, going from there, I do think the way that they have it lined up for the reboot is pretty solid. I think restarting with the X-Men is a good idea. I don't know how they're going to do it with, like, Doomsday and all that, but I do think restarting with the X-Men is a good idea, because we haven't had MCU X-Men, really. So, like, them restarting with that feels right, because you're like, okay, like, yeah, we've seen X-Men, we've had, you know, our old X-Men and stuff, but like, this feels like normal, because like, this is like the MCU X-Men. It's different, you know what I mean? Rather than just being like, oh yeah, we're gonna start it with a new, you know, Iron Man movie with the new Iron Man. That would just seem out of place. But like, something like this where it's like people that you haven't seen and stuff like that, but they haven't interacted in the same way in this world, that feels more normal. And then like Ghost Rider, you know, a character that we've never had in the MCU.
Yeah.
So, you know, starting off like that, I think will make it a little bit easier to kind of ease into that stuff, you know what I mean? And then add as they go.
I just think, too, though, like, thinking about all of these kind of not as popular teams that people want incorporated or, like, have been attempted at before, but it didn't pan out, like the Eternals, if they come back, are they going to start from the top? Or are they going to redo the Eternals and, like, take another crack at it? But then there's also, like, the Inhumans and, like, is the Guardians of the Galaxy, are they all going to start from the top? Like, because I can picture the X-Men being just very prominent through like everything, like interwoven into everything. Because, I mean, if you think about them as a concept, they should be, because it's like world
Mm-hmm.
controversial stuff of how to deal with mutants and stuff, and then that's how like things like Avengers versus X-Men kind of
Mm-hmm.
things happen. But it's like, if we're gonna start off with the X-Men, and it's already gonna be in like a controversial world topic like that, they need to make it that that is its own thing, while also like if somebody else is becoming a superhero, like making that distinct to that person. But they're also going to be walking the line of, like you said, oh yeah, we need to introduce a lot of stuff in each project. So I think it will become a thing less and less and less, where it's like the person who is the focal point of the movie, maybe they get one movie where it's mainly just them, but then probably in the sequels and
Mm-hmm.
stuff it'll be way more interwoven with a lot of stuff. So with starting off the new MCU with a character like Ghost Rider too, I could see him having solo his entire movie without other heroes and
Yeah.
stuff in it. But I also could see them being like, hey, let's make sure we throw in some Doctor Strange or something like
Yeah.
that into this, so
I can
that
see that.
there's an easy connection that we don't have to make on the first point of another
Yeah.
movie, you know?
Exactly. I'm kind of worried about what's going to happen though with the reboot itself post, Secret Wars and all that, just because I don't want them to suffer from the same thing that they suffered from with the multiverse saga, where it seemed like nothing connected and it was all very random. And I feel like it might go in that direction a little bit, but not in the same way. I think with it all being under the same umbrella, and that's what the whole reboot's about, and making sure everybody's in the same place, and all these characters are in one cohesive world. I think they will do that, but I think what's going to end up happening is that the X Men will be doing their thing with Mister Sinister and all that. Because I've heard that the X Men, the big bad for that is going to be Apocalypse, but like the real deal Apocalypse, which I'm hoping so. I think if they do it right, he'll be like a Thanos level threat, span multiple movies, all
Yeah.
that. And I think that's what it will be. But I don't think it'll be a thing where it was with like Thanos and the Avengers, where it's like everybody taking on him. I think that will be more so just like kind of an X-Men thing. And I think like Ghost Rider and all that will probably lead to Midnight Suns and all that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of this stuff will be happening at the same time, but it'll just be like their own avenues of not connecting. Like, multiple storylines happening at the same time, but not all connecting, which I think will be fine as long as they do it all right and it doesn't just become random like they were doing with the multiverse saga. Because I don't really know what they were going for with the multiverse saga, but a lot of what they were putting out there that seemed random. I feel like they could
Yeah.
do it well, where it's like, okay, like the X Men are doing like the X Men stuff with like Apocalypse and all that. Ghost Rider's doing the supernatural thing with Midnight Suns and Mephisto and all that. And then who knows if we get Inhuman stuff? Cool, if that
Yeah.
ever comes out. And I know they also said that in the reboot stuff, they're gonna focus a lot on like intergalactic stuff too, as well. I've
Mm-hmm.
heard that for a while, so I'm like, well, is that just gonna be like the other part of it? Because and that's the other thing
Yeah.
too is like when they said that, it made a lot of sense because we had just got right when they started, that rumor started coming about that all of the reboot stuff will be more intergalactic. We had just gotten Century, the Wonder Man show's coming out. We have Adam Warlock from Guardians and all that, and then like the Marvels and all that. So like I was really thinking, all right, like they're gearing up for some crazy stuff. Like
Yeah.
there's been rumors about like Nova series and all that, and
Yeah.
like Jean Grey, which means Phoenix Force and all that. So I'm like,
And poor Nova's been just a rumor for
yeah.
so long.
Well, and I'm like, all right,
Man.
so it really seems like all this is happening. Like the
Yeah.
intergalactic stuff seems like it's happening, but then the first two things that they announce are X Men and Ghost Rider. And I'm like, wait a minute,
Yep.
wait a minute. And then
Yeah.
Wonder Man season 2 gets canceled, and I'm like, wait, what's
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah, and there's, yeah, oh man, there's all these just like spare characters running around where it's like, yeah, like Moon Knight had his own story go on for
Yeah,
a season, ended on a big cliffhanger, and it's just like,
yeah,
you might not ever see him again.
yeah.
I think, well, I'll switch up kind of the angle we're talking about this for a second though, and in the new MCU reboot, do you have any characters that you really want them to like hammer down on, or like any big events that you want to see happen, or villains that you want to be really prominent?
So I will say 100% certainty, I do want the Apocalypse thing to be more than just a rumor, and I want him to be a multi-movie Thanos type of threat to the X-Men. I think that would be fantastic. I also think I want them to really do like the Midnight Suns and all that. Like I know a lot of people are like, well, you pretty much have everybody to do it already.
Yeah.
I mean, you have, Ghost Rider's confirmed. You already have Werewolf by Night. You have Man-Thing. You have Elsa Bloodstone. You obviously have Strange. There's a lot of people that are already in it.
Yeah.
Like the whole group is pretty much made already. We've
Yeah.
seen them. So I'm like, well, I really want them to do that. I don't know why they wouldn't. And I'm hoping too that maybe some of those characters that they've kind of just like canceled their stuff or like hasn't come up yet. Maybe that's why, because like
Sure.
we're doing the reboot. So instead of giving you your next season, we're just gonna wrap you into this instead.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that might be the case. And then I am hoping like they do, the intergalactic stuff. I wouldn't mind seeing, Nova and all that. I wouldn't mind the Eternals coming back. I wouldn't mind seeing, Wonder Man again. I wouldn't mind seeing Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, I hope at this point we do get into some of the cool characters too, as far as intergalactic stuff goes. Like I wouldn't mind seeing Hyperion. I wouldn't mind seeing Blue Marvel, Gladiator, like all those guys. Let's get them in.
There's some big time.
Yeah,
There's some big time characters.
Let's get them in. I mean, and I heard a lot of speculation about like, the intergalactic stuff, like who's it gonna be if that does actually come about and they do all that. And I've heard a lot of people say Annihilus, and I think that'd be great.
I've heard that, that he will probably be
great.
Yeah, that he would probably be a like big bad of the next like just whatever it is that comes after them or Secret Wars. I think I've heard them refer to it as Phase 0, which I kind of like and I kind of don't like because there's all these. It's like we said, there's these fragments running around that will still be like a continuation from what was, but then there's going to be like a whole straight stop. But I do hope to see a lot of. I really want like a really strong balance of like, okay, we're gonna have a cosmic, unbelievably power scaled group or villain or something story like that. And it's like, okay, the next movie though is gonna be like about our street tier heroes, and then we're gonna like bump it up. Here's like an X-Men movie and how that's affecting everything. I feel like that balance is kind of hard to strike, but I think they can do it, and I think that's what they're gonna be gearing up to try and do, because the two things that the MCU is missing the most, not like as in like misusing it or anything, but is their supernatural element has not been like as prominent as it should be, like you're saying, with like Midnight Suns and like Moon Knight and Werewolf by Night and all that. There's like so much they can do with all that. And then there's the X-Men, and right out of the gate in the new MCU, it's Ghost Rider, full supernatural and like spiritual things, and then that comes after X-Men, setting up like the whole world controversy mutant thing. So I think that is a good start. I probably should. I mean, this is a point where everything is just like a rumor, past, I think, as of right now, just Black Panther 3. So, there's like so much to come from that. But in terms of an event thing that I would like to see, and this is also on the tails of like you were saying, when there's like a big bad of a respective team or world within the world kind of deal. Something I want to see, but it would be like so far down the line from where we are right now, because there's so much lore that just needs to happen leading up to this, is I really want to see a World War Hulk happen. But I think I've been seeing rumors that Secret Wars will probably be Mark Ruffalo's last Hulk appearance, which is like, it makes sense. He's been around for a while now, and if they are doing a full scale reboot of some of the major characters, I think Hulk would be a good one to do.
Yeah.
Even though like there's like a lot of story to the Hulk that they have right now, and a lot of places they could go with that. I don't mind if they just are like, okay, let's start strong with an actual Hulk being like one of the main people.
Yeah.
But I would not mind seeing an event that brings like all teams together, being like Hulk is coming on a revenge plot, and then
I agree.
them getting, like all of the powerhouses and like crazy power scaled people to stop him. I think that'd be a very cool one that I want to see happen.
I agree.
Other than that, I don't really have any like major villains as of right now in terms of like big bads that I'm dying to see. I just hope that they don't that they just ignore that they brought in Galactus and then vanished him. I want him to come back.
I also want Galactus to come back. And I think that would be one of those where it's like, later down the line, there's a little bit here and there of like, remember this from way back then? And then all of a sudden, boom, there he is again. And you're like, oh, crap.
Well, that would be scary, too, is like, if they're in a new universe and like maybe in this new universe a lot of people don't know that they're like in a new universe or whatever, is like Galactus, who apparently is the sole Galactus of the multiverse, like comes back and like he's still hungry for Earth, but this time he might be like actually to scale and like really big and scary. And if they do the power scaling right, where it's like kind of balanced across the board, then they might actually be able to off the bat have what they need to stop him, but him still be like a terrifying threat to Earth and the people involved. So just of anybody, I would hope that Galactus would be a character that sticks around for a while.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I think that covers everything I'm currently thinking about post Secret Wars MCU.
It's kind of hard to speculate because a lot of it's just going off rumors and then the very few projects that we have confirmed. So
and we're right now right in the thick of like every day there's a new rumor.
Yeah.
So that's cool. It's just like, oh my gosh,
got to weed through it.
What does this look like? Yeah. But yeah, this has been the Mild Opinion Podcast. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.